Hey friends, Catherine here. I am thinking of making a octopus pendant today. Something that can hang from a necklace and be an octopus, basically. So I have mixed up this really dark red. I mixed some red, some brown, and some black to get this kind of brick color. I mixed up some purple, and this is just purple and black. And then I mixed up some yellow and white, and we're going to set that aside because we're not going to use that till more towards the end. But the first thing we're going to work with is the red, and I want to cut it not quite in half. I want to end up with more of it on one side than the other, but sort of half. And actually that might not even be partial enough. There we go. More like that. Just let I've got most of it on this side because this is going to be the head of the octopus. And for that we're going to roll it into a ball and then round it out more at one end and bring it down more at the other end into like a teardrop shape. So sort of like that. Go. And the reason why we're doing this is, well, not only does it create the shape of the head of the octopus, I also want the octopus to be clutching this marble in front of it. So, sorry, there's clay all over this work surface as well, and it's probably should have cleaned off my workstation first, but oh well, such is life. There we go. Anyway, roll it out and press it down at one end and round off on the other end, so that we end up with this, as we mentioned earlier, sort of teardrop shape. Go. Okay. Set it down, press it against my workstation because I want the back to be flat, and then grab my marble and seat it right at the bottom of that teardrop shape, just so that it sets in and sticks on just a little bit. Okay, then we are going to take our remaining red clay and separate off that much of it. We'll set that aside for later, and then roll the rest of it out into a snake, because these are what's going to be making up part of our tentacles. Go. Okay, and then for this we're just going to take and actually cut off that little end that got weird, and then we're going to take and divide it up into eighths. So that gives us halves, quarters, and eighths. There we go, and then we're going to set those aside for a moment because, as you can probably tell, those are not long enough or thick enough to be tentacles on their own. What we are going to do for that is actually something kind of cool. We're going to cut off a small portion of the purple that we set aside and set that aside as well, and then roll it out into thicker tentacle pieces, if you will. Go. Just making sure it's even and flat, and then divide it up into eighths. So half, and then half again, and then half again. All right. Now these are too thick for tentacles though, for that octopus anyway. So what we're going to do is lay our red piece along each of those purple pieces. And hopefully this will work out. I haven't tried it before, but I hope. And the red pieces aren't quite as long as the purple pieces are, but that's perfect because it'll leave a little bit of extra end that is just purple, which is just fine. Go. For all of the pieces, just match them up with one stripe of red. And then pinch them together, good and solid, and then roll those out a little bit, just to a uniform thickness with a red stripe down one side. And then roll one end thinner than the other end. And that, we have a tentacle. Same thing for the rest of all 8 of them. Roll it out to a uniform thickness. And then one end narrower than the other end. There we go. Okay, 8 tentacles to stick onto our octopus that I just put a gouge in with my thumbnail. There we go. Okay. And then we'll just put these on here, right toward the bottom. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, and then let's actually put that one in between those other 2, 7 and 8. Okay, so now we're going to want these top 2 to come up and wrap around our chain, but we don't have a chain at the moment. And in any case, for the moment, we're just going to use a skewer. So we're just going to take them up and wrap them around. Like this. And then cut that little extra tail off because it's a little longer than we need. Go and then set that aside. Same thing for the other side. Bring it up and wrap it around. And cut the excess off. Okay. Okay, bring the head down a little bit so that it's to the marble more. And then these next 2 tentacles, we want to come up and hold our marble. So I think we can use the extra bits that we cut off the tentacles. Let's just take and roll that into a ball and then cut it in half. And roll each of those into a ball. And then press them. Actually, those might be too large. Although I kind of do want large eyes on this octopus. Maybe just a little bit smaller. Okay, yeah. And then right into the sides. I should have put an indent in there first. When I pressed them in, they just flattened. Okay, let's try this again. Roll it into a ball. Go. And then let's grab our poker tool and poke an indent where we want the eyes to be. There we go. And then pop those, well, let's roll them out into little bit football shapes so that when we press them in the press round, hopefully, pop them into those there, and there. Okay, awesome. That's coming along wonderfully. Now we're going to grab a little bit more of our red and give him eyelids. There we go. And for that we want to roll it into a snake. Actually smooth out some of my fingernail marks on there because I've been gouging him with my fingernails this entire time, which probably just means I need to make myself have shorter fingernails, but whatever. All works. He just looks like he's a tough guy, like he's been in a couple fights. And then fold that over flat because I rolled it too thin, and roll it again. And then take and cut like 2 lengths like that long off of there and press those down flat. And actually cut that a little bit shorter now, but lay it over his eye and tuck it in. Let me turn that so that I can get a better view on it myself, because I know you guys aren't going to be able to see the back side of it, but I want it to look nice all the way around. Okay, smooth it down. Okay, there we go. One side has an eyelid, and now the other side. Take and press it flat, and pick it up and lay it on and smooth it down. Getting better at this smoothing things down thing. Go. Okay, so far so good. Let's just get the back side there, hopefully. Okay, and you could stop right here, and everyone who looked at it would know that it was an octopus. It's pretty clearly and obviously an octopus at this point. But I'm a fan of freckles on octopi. So I'm going to go ahead and grab our little bit of purple that we had set aside and pull off just the tiniest little bit and roll it flat and put some freckles on the top of his head. Ooh, dropped my piece. There we go. Put some freckles on the top of his head. Just the tiniest little bits. And I want to do different sizes of freckles. All right, now for the fun part. We get all this red and purple out of the way. And if you remember that yellow from way back in the beginning of the video, we're going to pull that back out and actually wipe off the red and purple from our hands a little bit first, because we are a little stained from the clay, and that's okay. Maybe use the wipe to smooth down this a little bit, because wipes are great for smoothing things down. There we go. Okay, now what we are going to do is slice off a chunk of this yellow and roll it out into a snake, like we've been doing this entire time, because that is a technique we are going to be using a lot for this octopus. Okay, snake it all out. And then cut off the pointy end piece, and then cut off a little disc, and stick that little disc on the end of our poker, and poke it on as a suction cup. Oh, that's gonna look awesome. Okay, just tiny little pieces of suction cups onto our poker and poke them on. Let me know what you think. I'd be happy to hear your opinion of my little tiny octopus guy. I think he's super cute. If you do like this and you want to see other things that I do, definitely let me know. I put up videos every day, so I'm happy to show the things that I do to you and share them with you. And remember to subscribe, and I will see you all another time. Bye!